So you think you're moving to Nashville and you know everything there is to know about Nashville. Well, I tell you what, you probably don't. Let me help you out. If you're moving to Nashville, there are lots of things you need to know. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And in today's show, I'm going to help you with learning some of the things, finding how to learn everything else that you might want to know about. How do you get all of your questions answered, and first steps. But let's go inside. It's cold out here. So you're moving to Nashville. Yes! Now what? I tell you, this is the beginning of the year and I have gotten easily 4 to 7 calls or texts or emails, and thank you for those of you who are doing that, because that's exactly the first way to do. How do you do this? That's really the biggest question that everybody has. We've decided to move to Nashville. How do we do it? What's the first thing? And any new thing you're trying to embark on, the hardest part is, where do you start? What comes first? The fun things about trying to move to a new home or to a new city, the fun things about that is finding the perfect home. So we all scroll through Zillow. That is not the first thing to do. So in today's show, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 main things to do next when you're deciding to move to Nashville. And then stick to the end. I'm going to tell you about the one thing that I have lied about, or it seems that I have. I really haven't. But it certainly seems that I have. So if you've been following me for a while and you've been watching several of our shows about different places to live, different neighborhoods, different cities, the different counties, what each has to offer, all the things, the cost of living, all the things that you can find here on this show, you'll find one area that it looks as though I lied to you about. Stick around, I'm going to share that info with you as well. But you got to stick to the end. The number one question that I get when people are moving to Nashville, they've decided they're moving. The number one question I get in a roundabout way is, now what? How do I do this? I get it. I wouldn't have a clue as to how to change my carburetor. And just going to YouTube is not going to help you functionally. Now, physically, we're doing this. Now, what are the next steps? Here's the next steps. I'm here to simplify. Best steps are, give me a call, give me a text, email me, or anyone else that you truly trust to help lead you in the right direction and you know that they are experts in their area. It doesn't have to be me, but if you're here, why wouldn't it be me? Call, email, text, do what so many other people are doing. Here's 3 times this week I've gotten that same question of, I've Googled, but I don't know where to go next, or I've been Zillowing, but I don't know what to do next. Those are not great places to start. The best place to start is a conversation. When we get on a Zoom call, it's just kind of like this. When we get on a Zoom call, I got the privacy, you've got the privacy. We're going to ask all kinds of questions. I want to know about you. I want to know about your family. I want to know about the neighborhood that you currently live in and the city that you currently live in. I want to know the things you love about that city and are not so happy about. I want to know why you want to move to Nashville. I want to know, is it a job? Is it family situation? Is it family dynamics? Is it exhaustion from the last couple of years in your city? I want to know all those things to get to know you, to be able to help define for you the important things that you want in a new town, in a new city, in a new neighborhood. I've got to. So I get it. You can't have a clue by looking at a home on Zillow that the neighborhood is 30 miles from the closest Walmart, or that it's right there at the park, which is wonderful, but it also has a football field next to it that's lit up every evening, football and soccer and baseball diamonds, so that you've got the bright lights behind you. You can't know those things from looking at the house, and it's truly a waste of time. After I've asked all those kind of questions about what you want in a community, what your family dynamics are, what you need school-wise if that's necessary, all the things that you enjoy doing, that your family, the people coming with you enjoy doing. Once I know all those things, then the next thing is I've got to get crass. I'm going to get down and dirty with you because I've got to help you. The only way to help you is to know, all right, what kind of money have you got? You may tell me things that give me 3 different ideas of great places for you to live. And depending on what your budget is, I don't want to tell you about the one that's going to seem like the enchanted forest and just phenomenal. But if it's not in your price point, what's the point in disappointing? So we need to know those things. That's the reality. You have to get down to the nitty-gritty of what we can do. Now, Nashville SMSA, if you've been watching for long, is a 9-county area. Each county has a lot of both cities and towns and very rural areas. Someone today asked me to check on Soddy Daisy for them, or another area, because they saw the homes were much cheaper in Soddy Daisy. Well, by the time I looked it up, Soddy Daisy is, I think it's like 2,000 people, and it's even less than that since the 2010 census. We've got teeny tiny holler kind of areas that's perfect if you want to live off grid. But if you are so used to needing to be or want to be 20 minutes from the nearest Whole Foods, that isn't going to be your baby, even if the house is cheap. So you get my point. I've got to help you start at the top of the funnel and help narrow things down based on what your budget will allow. Then I'll find the best places for all the things that you tell me you want within that Zoom call. So here's what you can do to make that Zoom call perfect. Come with your top 20 things that you want. Great. But also, I'm going to ask you, what are the 5 non-negotiables? Don't think anybody's going to think I'm picking on them when I mention today. The non-negotiables for these people was they wanted at least 5 acres. They needed at least 4 bedrooms. They wanted to be close to groceries and shopping, and by that meant like 20 minutes away from those things. Several different things. I had to narrow it down. What are the non-negotiables? The non-negotiable is 5 acres, no HOA, and 4 bedrooms with a budget that would not let me put them in Nashville or Brentwood or Franklin or Mount Juliet, and some of the little bit further out areas that still have better than a Dollar General store as the main shopping. Those nuances are important, and truly throwing darts at towns that you see look like they're great on Zillow, if you know nothing about it, but the price of the home looked right and the house looked right, nothing else about that list was right for them. So this Zoom call will take weeks and weeks of worry out of your busy day by helping us just solidify some basic information. So what happens next? After we've had this Zoom call, after we've learned about your family, after we've got your 5-6 non-negotiables, then I'm gonna set up a search that meets your basic criteria needs, those basic needs from your non-negotiable list of items. Then we're gonna set up a search for you. And I'm gonna watch daily and send to you daily what homes meet those basic criterion. Now, not all the things you want. I'm not about to put, if your primary bedroom is on the main level, is one of your non-negotiables, that's gonna be in there. But if it's 7 or 8, it's a wish I had, I'm not gonna put that in there because I want you to see the main things that you want, and then you can call from that the 6 houses that don't meet some of those needs because you found 2 or 3 that were great. So I'm gonna set up your basic search. With that, you will be getting homes as they come on the market. We need to stay in touch via text is the fastest way, or phone call is great too. I'm always driving and doing things. If we need to tweak those looks or the things in that criterion, I can tweak it, I can change it. We can make some changes as need be, but this is a great way to get started. Helps you be like a horse. Put on those blinders so the horse who is racing, because you know a horse can see, they have the biggest eyes of any mammals, and they can see all around them. If you see a horse thundering past you, that could be daunting. We're gonna put on these blinders and only focus on the things that meet those needs that you say you've got. It's very helpful. Another question that's constantly asked of me is, when do I come? Well, again, from our Zoom conversation, I'm gonna know whether, have you been to Nashville? Are you familiar with the area? All that type of thing. If you've never ever been here before, then my suggestion, if you've got the time, and every person is different, you may have to be here for a job in a month. You don't have the time to come here, travel, and go back and forth. Depending on your time, I'm gonna help you map out a plan. But if you've never been here before and we're looking at several different towns, maybe separate from each other, my suggestion is to fly out here on a weekend. If you got a home for sale, if you're putting your house on the market, go ahead, get it ready, get it perfect, plan an open house, and then open house weekend, come here, stay away from home. You don't have to worry about keeping it clean at the drop of a hat. come here and we will map out in areas for you to go take a look at. You may have found that you liked Fairview homes great at your budget, and you may have found that you also like Mount Juliet homes. I'm going to help recommend an Airbnb or a hotel for you to stay as a base of operations. From that base of operations, one day you may go this direction and one day that direction. One of the homes, one of the communities, one of the neighborhoods is going to resonate with you. The other ones are not. Then we can hone in on which town, which city is the best for you. So we're really putting on those blinders again and getting even more narrow and more focused. So if you have the time to come visit, and if we find homes that meet your needs in several different towns or several different communities, spend some time in each one. I promise you that's going to help you really solidify what you want, what you don't want, and you can feel far more comfortable with your decisions. I do FaceTime video walkthroughs with people all the time. We know somebody wants to be in Brentwood. We know the parameters of what they need in a home. Send you a search. This house looks perfect. FaceTime, just like this, these phones, thank goodness. I will FaceTime, put the phone in my car with me, drive through the neighborhood. You can see the neighborhood, show you the closest stores that are of importance to you, show you the distance going to be to your work, take you through the drive you through the neighborhood, walk you in the house. I can turn around and show you that the front door is 5 feet from the opening from the office, if that's what you're going to do, a work from home. Those things you can walk through with me, and I promise I don't put it on long lens or short lens. So what you see is what I'm seeing when we go through a home. Again, there's no one answer to the question of when do I come? The question is answered by what's right for you in your situation and letting me help you come up with a game plan. Question that people don't want to ask, and they rarely ever ask, but I know it's there. I know it's in your guts of saying, why do I need a realtor? Wouldn't it be better if I work with 6 different realtors to try to find the right house? I can promise you that's going to cause you nothing but confusion. It really isn't. And you know, the amount of time and effort that it takes to get to know one person and to trust one person, you try to divide that 6 ways when you're buying the most expensive home or the most expensive investment of most people's lives. That's a really hard job to find 6 different people who are basically strangers that you really trust with that. Find somebody you trust and find one realtor that you trust to work with you. And let's talk about this elephant in the room. New construction homes, when you get into a Del Webb or any of the numbers of great new builders, they typically have their building agent on site. You got to know that building agent is only working for the builder, not for you, not looking after your best interest, not reminding you that you told us that you want privacy in the backyard and that you really want to be certain that there can be no homes built behind you. That person doesn't have a clue. They just know they've got a lot that has trees. Now, they're maybe not telling you that the road is going to be continued and there's a next street over in the next phase is a new phase of homes and it's new trees. They're not telling you because they work for the seller. Now, I'm not telling you they're trying to cheat you in any way. You need somebody to be an advocate for you. Number 2, every single state is very different. Every city is even different in some of the nuances of their contracts. So when I've seen a couple of California contracts, it boggles my mind. It's very confusing and very, very different than our Middle Tennessee contracts. Knowing the nuances of the things that somebody can write an offer for you that protects you such that you do have ways of getting out if maybe the house doesn't appraise or if the inspection doesn't appraise. And knowing the dates and deadlines and meeting those deadlines is absolutely important. If you don't have somebody watching out for you on those deadlines, then you're suddenly have no outs and you must buy that home, even if you don't want to because the inspection fell through, because that's what your contract says. So having someone who really understands the contract of the location that you're working in, understands you, your needs, if you trust them, then continue to trust them to work on your behalf to make you happy. And after all, when you're in business for 35 years, you're not out to just make that one sale. You're out to build relationships. So find the realtor you truly trust, whether it's me or anybody else, then make us work for it. We love it. Okay, so after all that talk about trusting your realtor and sticking with the person that you've come to know, well, I didn't really lie to you. I promise you I really didn't lie. But sometimes, evidently, it makes me look like that. Mother Nature is a tricky lady. We have had the most unusual early winter that you can possibly have. I've told many of you, and from many of our videos, that our typical winter has about 3.5 inches of snow. We typically have more of an ice event than snow. It doesn't last long. You have plenty of warning for like days in advance so you can get all the milk and eggs and groceries that you need. But we very seldom get much snow. Well, Martin Luther King Day of this year, we got, where I live, 8 inches of snow. People got anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow right here in this middle Tennessee corridor. So this has been very unusual. Let me tell you how unusual. The last snow we remember like this was when my now 30-ish year-old children were 8 and 10. And between the time of me driving them to school and turning around to head back to my office, there's about 20 minutes, we had a deluge of just dumped snow that was beautiful and wet and huge. And I think by the end of the day, we had about 8 inches. That was 2 decades ago. It doesn't happen often. And because of that, we don't have the snow plows and some of the things that many of the cities have that are constantly keeping them clean because we just don't use it off. They de-ice. They did all they could do to get it, but we're having a couple days of extra days this Martin Luther King weekend. Now, I hated it for everybody who already had a holiday because it was used up for a snow day. But don't worry, they're going to get their snow days. We always have 10 days worth of snow days scheduled. We rarely ever use that many unless they want off and then they use it. Probably isn't any snow on the ground. Probably was just, they wanted it. Doesn't matter. They use it, but we rarely have it. But it does look like I lied to you. I didn't, but isn't it beautiful?